Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking about all things real estate. And today we specifically want to talk about what's going on in the market. We're now, I'm not sure when you'll see this, but we're just into February now. So we've kind of gone through the first month and gone through the holiday, and I think one of the things in the holiday season is this is probably the first time in, 5 years that we've actually seen a seasonal slowdown.
Yeah, it tends to slow down. I don't know. I usually work right through Christmas being like one of the busiest times.
Right.
And then the first 2 weeks of January, last 2 weeks of August and first 2 weeks of January is always the timing. If I want to take time off,
right,
that's when my phone, it might ring, but really it's like a pause for 2 weeks, it feels like.
Right. So
it was definitely slow this time around.
Yeah, and I think the one thing to put in perspective with that is that we were in such a hot market for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
That I think for some of us, we forgot what it was like to have a break over the holidays and not having to, show properties between Christmas and New Year's even. And I've had to do that before. But it was, I think we're starting to see more seasonal trends that are normal.
Well, it's like coming, we were going so fast and now we slowed down. We're like slowed down extra slow for a little while.
Right.
And then I think we'll just rebound. But it's going to be like that pendulum swing. We were really super busy, working through Christmas, working through everything in the last 2.5 years.
Right.
And now it's going to slow back down to back to normal. It's just going to feel slower than normal for a little while.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Until we get into sort of a pace. Okay, this is the new pace.
Right.
This is the new average time it takes to sell a property.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's going to take a little more, it's going to take more work to sell the same property now.
Right.
Right?
So, okay, so let's
back
talk
to normal.
about... Yeah, back to normal. So let's talk about what, where we're at now. So we're in the new year, we're into 2023. What does that say right now? What are we seeing in the market?
Well, we're getting new inventory. What is it? We have like 1,000 more listings than we had last time, at the same time last year. So that's positive. So all of those new listings that haven't been sold yet,
right,
they're likely, unless they're moving away from Victoria, they're likely going to buy something else in Victoria. Those are also buyers. Right. I've always looked at it this way. So, it taking a longer time to sell on the market.
Yeah.
And new listings are going to be coming on, competing, placing, strategically their pricing against what's out there already.
Sure.
We're going to see more listings for spring, which I think is great news. If you were thinking about selling and you're worried about, this is the fear that everybody's had in the last 2.5 years. Well, what am I going to buy?
Where am I going to live? Yeah.
Where am I going to live? Like if I sell my house, then I have to, overpay for the other house after somebody overpaid for your house.
Right.
And now everything's settling down where, okay, you might not get as much money for on your house that you expected, but you're likely to be able to negotiate better on your purchase.
Sure. And
most likely not be in multiple offers. Not saying it's not happening.
Right.
But you might not have to go ahead without an inspection, without a financing clause or anything else that you might think is necessary.
So do we know how January was, numbers-wise? Is it good? Is it...
Oh, the sales are down like 41%, I think it was.
Okay.
Over the year before.
Okay.
Over the year before.
Over last year, though.
Over last year, but lowest amount of sales on record.
Really?
To give you a perspective of all time.
Okay.
Even with Victoria's population increasing.
Yeah.
Every year.
Okay. So I guess let me I think bring that to where we're at right now, because I think that's a pretty significant number. But what we are starting to see is things start to move again. right? I'm just in talking with other agents. They're kind of saying the same thing. They see things starting to move. They see. Was talking to one agent, and he said, my buyers love this. The way the market is right now, because it gives them time to look and make decisions. And and I guess the other side of it is I ended up in three multiples
this past month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and so that's just to say it's not the sky is not falling.
Sky's not falling. Everybody I'm working with is pretty positive, patient, and positive that the right property will come along.
Sure.
And at that point, we'll be jumping at the right thing, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is from what everybody is saying and the recommendations that we're hearing, there is at least for the most of this year, there is not going to be another interest rate bump. So I think it's we kind of from what we don't know that for sure, but generally speaking, we are at, call it the new normal for the next 6 to 8 months.
Oh, please don't say new normal. Yeah, but that's what it is, right? Like at least if this is the shock of all of these interest rate bumps is over,
right?
And this happens every time there's a big change.
Sure.
There's a bit of a delay. There's a bit of a slowdown behind whatever policy that federal, provincial, whoever does it.
Yeah.
And then nobody's going to keep waiting until, it's going to get better. No, that's just the new normal.
Right.
And move on. If you want a house, if that's the next step in your life.
Sure. And I think, we're going to talk about this in another video. We don't know that this is going to happen, but I know that there's talk about, again, changes to, the process in terms of mortgages and even how much banks can lend on mortgages and at what level and so on. And so...
So this isn't new. I mean, like, historically, the banks are doing... The federal government, the banks are doing everything in the best to protect Canadians from over-leveraging themselves. So there's something else coming down the pipe?
Maybe.
Yeah, well...
they're talking about it. How's that?
Okay, they're talking about it. So
that's probably another, on another episode we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But
well, catch us on that episode then.
Yeah.
Right.
But we'll talk about it. But I guess all of that comes back to when's the right time to buy or sell? It's when you need to buy or sell, and if it's right now, then it's right now. And if changes are made again to mortgage requirements that make it tougher, certainly now's the time. And like we said, we'll talk about that in another episode, but there are things to do now just to prepare, even if they don't make any of the changes, for someone to be a little bit more fiscally responsible or adopt some different principles and put in some systems with how they're managing their cash flow.
Yeah.
This is a good time to do it, right? So
plan ahead on it. Anyways, that's the only if it's only talk in 6 months or in 12 months, like, just get ahead of the game.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. But again, like you said, we saw historically low numbers in January, but at the same time, we're starting to see the wheels start turning. Right, we're starting to see, people are getting out there to look at their properties. They're getting their approvals in place now. They're working through that whole process, and
maybe it's just a seasonally slow start.
Yeah.
Right, and it's reflected in it's the lowest amount of sales. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Life moves on, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing that we take out of all of that is it's nothing to panic about, and nothing to to use a hockey analogy, you don't need to grip your stick here, right? Just relax, right?
Some patience.
Yeah.
Right, just be patient, keep working through it.
Yeah. And if you want to buy, why not now?
Yeah, if you're ready.
Right.
And the right properties out there.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Perfect.
So, Yeah, if you want to find out any information about the things we're talking about, or maybe you have some questions for us, certainly reach out to us. You can, I believe our contact info is
Everything's in the description.
Description, so you can reach out to us directly if you have any questions, you have any comments. Certainly send them our way, and we'll do our best to address them. But
even if you disagree with us,
sure,
we're happy to look at other points of view. What if we missed something, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we're happy to engage in that in a civil manner.
Yeah, I mean, this is not about, right? We can disagree without being disagreeable.
Yeah,
right.
That's simple.
There was an era where we could actually have a conversation and not agree, and still be friends. Didn't come to
That's
blows.
how I still have friends.
Right.
Right. Because we don't always have the same views.
Sure. Yeah.
If it's about real estate or something else, right?
Well, I'll use a sports analogy, because I'm a sports guy. But back in the day, it was like it was tough, but I could be friends with a Calgary Flames fan as an Oilers fan, right? But
that's right, tribe versus tribe,
right?
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Yeah, we don't need to get into a big old, let's arm wrestle over it, that. And leave it at that kind of thing. But
that's right. It's
just
keep it civil.
So yeah, if you don't agree with something we've said, certainly we're happy to have that conversation as well, right?
I want to know, just because what if I didn't think about that point of view, or through this lens,
right? And
I could learn something.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
I encourage that.
It's good. Well, thank you again for watching. Please take a minute and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Also, like the video. It helps us with growing the channel, and we want to keep getting the word out there, and so that helps us a lot. But thank you for your time with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next video.
See ya.
Take care.